Hey y'all, welcome back to my dating diaries. So I talked for the last 10 minutes and my mic was off. So you know that's real fun. So I have to do it all over again. But it's okay. It's okay. My mic, I didn't charge it. And it's all my fault because I have two mics and I didn't charge neither one. So you may hear a little bit of the noise around me. And if that's okay with you, that's okay with me. Because I'm just trying to walk in obedience, y'all. Like, walking in obedience is one of the most uncomfortable things to do. I don't know. I don't know if y'all have those Grammys that like make that noise like like they've been through the stuff. They feel all the pain. Like when I tell my Grammy stuff that's maybe like frustrating or hurtful, she just groans. That groan from her soul. I can't do it like she does it. But I guess when I get a certain age, maybe I'll be able to do it. But like I've seen the older folks do it, and it's so on time. It's like anytime there's something that's frustrating or hard, or you know somebody may be battling it, it's like you know, they make that noise. But today we're talking about some of the things that cause you to cringe, that brings you frustration, that may make you feel a little angry or upset. And I'm going to talk about some things from me that makes me cringe. One, when an older person or older woman asks me why I'm not married. Two, when people around me or people that I know have major issues, trauma, pain, they're not dealing with life well, and they're not taking the advice when they come to you with all their stress. They're not coming to you, or you giving them the advice to go and see someone. They're not listening to you. Like, let's talk about this. That's two main things. I can't remember the third one right now, but I probably remember later on in the conversation. But two things that brings me a level of frustration is when an older person asks me why I'm not married. Girl, I don't know why I'm not married, girl. Like, I don't know. If someone could maybe, no, I'm not even gonna put that out there. I was gonna say, if someone could maybe set me up, you know, a blind date. No. I don't even think that's gonna work. But I think it worked in the past. I really believe maybe it didn't. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I remember my grandmother telling me a story, and there was someone that she liked or dated initially, and I guess the parents weren't in agreement. I might be telling the story wrong. My grandma could come and tell you. But her parents weren't in agreement, and so that was a no. And although it wasn't quite a blind date, she brought the person and they made the agreement. They were like yes or no. And I think that part of what we had in our society that helped us build marriages, that helped us the structure, the core of a healthy marriage. And I can't say that all was healthy or not, but I think some of it helped to shape you. It helped with the direction that we're going in life. Like our parents, they're some of the people that's been around us from inception. So they see us as we grow. They see our personalities. Now, the parents that are intuitive, that asks the Holy Spirit questions, and that is paying attention to you as a person, you as a whole being, and knowing your likes and dislikes. And then when people come into your life and you bring them to that parent, that parent that's intuitive, that parent that is paying attention, that parent that can possibly see further than we can see in the moment. Because I think a lot of relationships before were built on core stuff beyond love, beyond feelings. It was more of our families are stable and they bring two stable families together, or because of the nature of this person is reflective of the nature of this other one and it meshes well. That's my thought. So I'm thinking back in the day when my grandma and grandfather they were dating, that was how their relationships were built. So my grandmother said when my grandfather wanted to court her, he had to sit with both her parents and his parents. So the 6 of them sat down, parents discussing the future of these children, the future of these adults. And I think a lot of times now that I am able to like reflect and look at the choices that I made in the past, because man, the people that I chose in the past was so momentary. It was just so what I was feeling in the moment, what looked good at the time, what felt good at the time. And even in those relationships, I knew at a certain point, like, well, I've already outgrown this relationship now, deuces, guy. So it was just like, and I think that's why a lot of people go through a lot of relationships, because we change a lot. Our feelings, it changes. Our thoughts change, you know, like, but the core of who we are, I feel like a mentor, somebody who's reflective, a parent, is able to like look at you and they're like, I don't think that guy's gonna be good for you for the future. You know those old grandmas, they're just like, no child. I know one of the things that I like older people do that I find is so, I just think it's just so amazing, that they can look at some children and they're just like, nope, this one ain't your child. You know, just things like that. They just can look, like no one says anything, like no one did anything, they just know. Then they know like when the seasons are changing. They know when somebody's getting a cold, what to do. Like some of those core things from the past are just about gone. And the thing that icks me about all of this is, how do you even put it back? Oh, that's my third thing. So how do you put it back? Like, how do we don't want the past, but we still want to take some of the values and the morals that our ancestors had, and we want to be able to bring that into our society and into our life now. So how can we do that? And I think that's one of the hardest things to do or even think about, because, and I think all of this ties right into the ick, my initial ick, which was the older person or older lady asking why we're not married. So some of these, and this all ties into it, because it's just like, because society has changed so much, men, the nature of men, it's changed so much. So what we desire, or what I desire and what I expect has changed drastically, because I don't see it. Like, I really don't see it. Like the things that, now I don't want my daddy. Now I definitely don't want him or too much of his personality. But there were some things that I realized that a lot of this younger generation doesn't have. And one of the things that I really, really admire about my father, or had admired about my father, his past, was that he protected the family. And his nature was very, very protective. He wanted to ensure that his wife and children were not put in a compromising position. He just always wanted to ensure that we were safe, whether that be mentally, emotionally, or physically. Now looking back, I can understand why his personality, why he did certain things, because being a man, the nature is to ensure that your girls, he had 3 daughters and a wife. As 4 women, you have to protect and ensure that these women go into the hand of another man that can protect them. Like, I think that within itself is like, that is work, man. That takes a lot. And a lot of young men, one, they weren't raised with a dad, and 2, they don't have that nature. They don't know it to have it. Without being raised by a man, there are some values, there are some things that you need to see so that you can be and act a particular way. I can't imagine not being raised by my mom. And I've seen some women that's only been raised by their dads. And there are some things that they lack just because they didn't see a woman around. Now, hats off to the women that were raised by their dads only and had an aunt or grandmother or someone, other female around, that taught them some of the feminine things. But there is something that God just created, this system of the union of a man and a woman, that a child is to come into that union, because there are some things that you have to learn from both genders to make you complete. Now, nobody's perfect, so we don't have perfect parents. We don't have, everything isn't, exact. But I realize that a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, even thinking or trying to be in a relationship, stems from the lack of that was in a home. I hope y'all keeping up with me. I don't know how y'all feel. Let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts on my 3 points? It started off with the lady asking why I ain't married yet. And then the second thing was the second ick is the change in the society, the change in men, right? And what was my third thing again? I always miss it. Either way, we're just having a good conversation until I'm done. But the trauma. And then it's just the main thing is having the trauma, recognizing the thing, whatever the trauma is, whatever the thing is that brought you pain. I think when I talked about offense, there's something that offense, hurt, and pain that does to your heart, does to your spirit, that it changes you. It does something internally. And that's why God wants us to reflect, to pay attention to the things that are hurting us, that are harming us. And whatever the trauma is, deal with it. So going into marriage, having friendships, you're not hurting, abusing, frustrating someone else. Like, you could imagine having to deal with, this is a friendship. Friendships begin and friendships end. Having a friend that has been abused in the past and now isn't able to trust. And so every time you're like planning something with them or wanting to do something with them because of past trauma and maybe even other experiences in relationships, they are hurt. And so they hurt you unintentionally because they're hurt. And that hurt continues because now that person is hurt because the initial person kept hurting them. And then the cycle just keeps continuing until someone, one, creates the boundary and the relationship, but then there are some conversations that you have to have. So those things are some things that gives me the ick. The things that a person that has trauma, not dealing with the trauma, and then keeps hurting you. The older person asking about you being married, and then the way that society is now changed, it's made it a little bit more cumbersome to choose a spouse on your own. I know for me in my house, child, I have my team of advisors. I'm gonna have to be like Solomon, like David and those, because no. I don't think that's one of those things that I want to do on my own, because the way the heart works, it just be playing with you a little bit. And then sometimes the heart, the brain, and then trauma and life is just like all trying to fight together, and it just doesn't work. I don't know how you feel, but let me know in the comments your thoughts and some things that give you the ick. And I will see you in the next video.